Hello, everyone. Welcome to the State TA Day webinar. We're going to give people a few more minutes to get logged in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the February State TA Day webinar. Please go ahead and confirm that you can see my screen and hear my voice. Usually Rick Winter does this for us, but he's not with us today. Great, thank you so much. We will go ahead, just a quick announcement. So we had been having some technical difficulties and we were working with different systems to have these webinars. We do have our GoToWebinar back. So we will have the ability to record this and we will have it posted on the Office of Early Childhood website under the Early Childhood Council tab. So that's good news. We're going to go ahead and get started with our first presenter, Elizabeth Navarre. She hasn't given us an update in a few months. She manages the Colorado Shrines call center over at Mile High United Way. So just give me a minute, Elizabeth, and I will give you access and you can screen share. We can see your screen, Elizabeth. Hold on, and I will unmute you.
Okay, so the tools that pop up here is the research that we perform, not necessarily a agency that helps fund it, but it is a big navigate. It's the Colorado Chapter. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Hello to you all. It is awesome to be back and to share updates about our work and the support that we have given to our families. I hope that you all are well. It's really nice to be back, seriously. I love it. All right, perfect. So I have a packed agenda, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first item that I'd like to share with you is our CCRNR quarterly report. So we every quarter we prepare a report for OEC and it contains a lot of good information. So I'm going to go ahead and share that report with you all. You probably have seen this before. So we have information that pertains to the services that we provide. First, we like to focus on the volume itself, how many contacts we have fielded, how many people have reached out to us. Of course, phone, that is the primary way that families like to reach out to us, followed by email. And we also have text and chat as well. Those are pretty small. Nonetheless, it is a valuable way that families can reach out to us. And then below, we do have a way to present the way or how we're helping our family. So based off of the referrals, we have 3 different ways that we help our families with referrals. One of them is standard referral. So that's our navigators assessing the family's needs and compiling a list of childcare providers for them and sending that out to them along with education materials. If families find themselves needing additional support, calling providers for availability or identifying specific providers that can meet their needs, we can go ahead and offer that support for them. And that's an enhanced referral. So here, 2% of families who called our line for that quarter receive additional support surrounding an enhanced referral. The other type of support that we give to families is special needs referrals. So those are families who have special needs kiddos, and they may or may not need that additional support surrounding calling providers to find out what specific needs they can cater to. It can be one of the two, either just giving them a list or giving them additional support. But that is the core of the referrals that we give out: a standard, enhanced, and special needs. Standard, that is the biggest need that we provide at our contact center, with 97% of families reaching out and needing a list for referrals. We also are able to provide to our families information only, kind of like that secondary piece surrounding childcare, which is the educational materials, educating our families on quality care, how to pay for childcare, additional services that they may need to access. And that's what our other contact section is here. Primarily consumer education, that is uh, uh, the majority of people that call our line, and that's just to get information regarding consumer education, regarding the Colorado Shines rating, questions about how to find care, that type of thing. Families also, we do capture when families are not able to stay with us on the phone and then decide to instead fill out our online intake form, which I will talk about a little bit later on. But yeah, these are the different ways that families can also receive services from us. So it's not just referrals, but it's also that educational piece. And then here we have demographics. So we'd like to collect demographics to kind of get a better sense of who are we serving, where are these families coming from, and what are the languages and ages of kiddos as well, which is something that you, as childhood counsels, as CCRNRs, utilize very often. So we do have to collect the information and provide this to OEC and to you as well with our monthly reports. But this is a nice report that we produce for you all. Also reasons seeking childcare, employment being the biggest reason, followed by parent needs, and we do have other reasons here that are on a smaller scale. Finally, follow-up results. We like to follow up with our families on a monthly basis to see if they were able to find care, and then also to kind of find out about our services, whether or not the procedures that we have in place, if those are working for our families. So we surveyed 92 families who reached out to us from October through December. 51% found childcare using the information that they received from us. 49% were not able to find childcare. 96% rated the quality of our services as good or excellent, which is really, really good number. And 98% will recommend our services to a family to a friend or a family member. This information is super important because it helps us guide the services that we're providing and make any changes if we need to. I will send this report to Monica so that she can distribute it to you all. Really useful information that goes on a deeper level related to our services. Next, I have the online intake form. So a while back, I shared with you all that we have an online intake form available to make it easier for families to find care. And so this here, hopefully it will guide me. Yes, it did. Okay, perfect. So that link that I have there directs families to our Mile High United Way webpage, where we have childcare referral sub-web page, if you will. But anyway, this takes us to the online intake form. So this is an easier way for families to submit their information to us so that we can give them a referral. So if families don't have the time to spend with us, 15 minutes on the phone, we do have a way to guide them here so that they can submit their information to us, and we can give them a list within a business day. So very useful, very fast, easy to maneuver. So please feel free to let your families know that this exists. The form is available in Spanish as well. Moving along, text your availability. Please let your providers know that we have this available to them. Hopefully this makes it easier for families to find childcare as we, when we are supporting them and helping them call providers for availability. So if you can please spread the word and let providers know that they can text I'm sorry, this is the wrong keyword. It's actually CC open. And I'll change this slide when I send it off to Monica, but you can text CC open to 898211. And that is a way that you providers can let us know of their availability. And it's a very useful way so that we can give that additional support to families. So please spread the word. SDA contact. I have a Google sheet where SDAs and CCRNRs can update their contact information in case that we need to reach out to you to give families support on a deeper level. So please click on that link and update your information. That will be super useful for us. We also use that information in case we need to send childcare providers to you in case they need additional support or have questions. That is a very useful way for us to kind of streamline that for our clients. And then the last thing that I have to that I want to share with you all is the partnership that Mile High United Way has with Bright by Text. So our United for Families team has partnered with Bright by Text. The goal of this partnership is to engage on a closer level with families residing in the Globeville, Elyria, Swansea neighborhoods. So through Bright by Text, families will receive customized content, primarily focused on events as well as core educational information that can help support kiddos. They will also receive the core content coming from Bright by Text. So it'll be two different types of information that they'll receive, but nonetheless, it's super important information that can help families support their kids. To sign up, families can text the word United to 274448. And so if you could please let families know that this is something that they can access, this is additional support that they can reach out to, that would be great. Right now, United for Families is focusing on the Global Elyria Swansea neighborhood with the possibility of expanding. So if you could please spread the word, that would be great. All right, so that's pretty much it. Kind of fast, but I wanted to make sure that I touch base on all the things that I wanted to share with you. Do you guys have any questions?
Elizabeth, we do have a question. It says, what should providers put in the body of the text? Does it walk them through questions?
Yeah, so it's three simple things. And once they send out that text message, they'll receive an automatic response guiding them on what to include in the text message. So it's license number, ages for the availability that you have, ages of the age groups, and then also whether or not you take CCAP. So those three simple things.
Thank you. And just a reminder, if you guys want to send this information out in your council newsletters, we were really excited to have this option, and it took a while to get going, but it hasn't been as popular as we thought it would be. So if you, I know, how old is this, Elizabeth? Maybe 9 months, a year old that we've had this?
I think it's less than that, maybe 5 or 6 months.
Okay. But just keep reminding your providers in your area that they have this option if they have openings. Because we get a few phone calls on our Colorado Shines help desk every once in a while with them telling us about their availability, but I'm sure they're reaching out to you as well. Does anyone have any more questions for Elizabeth? And we do have a few councils saying that they already include this information in their newsletter. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I a while back I sent a small flyer that you could include in your newsletters and the communications that you send out to your provider. So I can resend that. It's an easier way to kind of advertise this text line for providers.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'll include that in the follow-up email.
Perfect.
We don't have any more questions for now, so just send me your slide deck when it's ready, and I will send it out to everyone on the webinar. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
So moving right along, our next presenters, it's kind of a continuation from last month. We have our partners over at SE2. They do all the Colorado Shines communication. Catherine Brenton, I have her listed. She's part of that team. She's not here with us today, but Lauren will present. So just kind of, I guess it's part 2 of distributing messages in your community. Hold on one second, Lauren, and I will make you the presenter.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah,
we
that's
can see your slides.
great. Yeah, that is, I guess I should go into presentation mode. That is a perfect segue into what we have been working on. So Catherine talked at the last meeting and to just kind of gather some interest for these Bright by Text materials that we're creating to help you all with your local outreach. So I won't take too much time today, and if you have any questions, let me know. But we are developing materials to help you all adopt Bright by Text for local outreach and to promote the resource to parents and caregivers in your community. Bright by Text, it's kind of this situation where you have to have a subscriber base, and in order to get that subscriber base, you have to be talking to parents and getting them enrolled in the community. And then as councils, as partners, you have to also program the messages into the system and engage the people in your community. So it's kind of a two-part effort. So we have written a communications plan, and that will be distributed by the OEC. It is supposed to be very easy. We don't want it to feel overwhelming. It just basically tells you how to share the info about Bright by Text and how to use it to promote your local resources. So it'll actually have a list of action steps that you can take to promote in your area, and it will include the materials that are available to you in that toolkit. So we'll have a fact sheet. This is something that will introduce Bright by Text, the messages, and the benefits. We will have a video and training manual. The video is about 5 minutes long, and the training manual will be paired with the video. So it will include actual screenshots of the back end. The back end's very clean, easy to use. Some of you may be familiar with it, but the goal is to give you a real head start after you have contacted them to get your, or actually they're going to be contacting you all, but once you get your login, we're hoping that by using this video and this training manual, you'll have a really good grasp on how to use the system. The toolkit will also contain promotional postcards and a poster in English and Spanish, and this is to display to families. So these are something that will be handed out to families, maybe like in the local library or in the different places where community gathers. And then obviously the poster it'll be an 8.5 by 11, so it will be easy to print. And you'll also be able to display that. We will actually write little blurbs for the e-newsletter or an email so that you can share that with partners to share with their networks and also the people in your community. And we actually will also write a couple of social posts. So you'll find all of that together in a folder on the Google Drive, and that once this is launched and the materials are ready, then the OEC will get that information to you. So we are here to help. Tara at Bright by Text will also be the one who will get each community or each partner or counsel their own login. One question I would have, I think, for the Bright by Text team, because I know Elizabeth just spoke about the code United to have parents to sign up. I believe that when each organization signs up, you get your own code to use. So I think the question that we would go back and ask is like if one council signs up and they get a code of easy or something, I'm just making that up, but if they get a code that says easy, does that enroll parents in their area to, I believe they receive all the national community, or not national, but like the regional communications and community specific communications. I'm not sure if that would include some of the Mile High United Way materials or not, but we can follow up on that. And then Tara will also have office hours to answer questions by phone. She can do webinars. So it's really easy to use. She obviously has a ton of information in her head because she's been doing this so long, but I think that it will be an easy process. And then also you can contact Julia Anderson at OAC for extra support. So once the materials are finalized, we're thinking in the next couple of weeks, Bright by Text will reach out to all of the councils that expressed interest in participating. And if you didn't sign up earlier, or for some reason someone wasn't attending today, it's not a big a deal at all. They can still sign up at the info@brightbytext.org. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
If you have questions, go ahead and type them in the question box. I'm going to try and unmute everyone. So if you don't have a question, you can mute yourself, but I will unmute everyone in case you want to speak out loud and ask your question. I don't know if that works.
I can send this. Well, Monica, I know you have the slides, and that might be good to send out to the group as well.
Yes, I will. I'll send out Lauren's presentation in the follow-up email. All right, no questions so far. So thank you so much, Lauren.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay, next up we have Lisa Mattern Eva from the EQIT team with an update. And Lisa, I will go ahead and make you the presenter. Does that work? And we can see your screen, but not the one with the presentation. We're seeing the other, your desktop. And we can see Eva. Oh, I unmuted you.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Can you unmute Eva also so we can both be unmuted?
I did unmute Eva.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. When we feel like this is a great segue to follow Mile High United Way, we saw the thread of 50% of families not being able to find childcare, and we saw this, saw infants and toddlers called out, and then to move into Bright by Text. And then we wanted to give an update, and we're bringing ourselves on screen. I'm going to click on myself so I see myself, so you can see me. And we wanted to do our update in a little bit of a different way. And so we reached out to a couple of people this morning to hopefully give us feedback. So we hope that you'll give us feedback on how this went today. If you're looking over my shoulder, you might see I've got cardboard boxes behind me, and that's because Eva and I are in the middle of a very intense process of training new infant and toddler specialists for your communities. And those are materials that are going to go out to them. And in the middle of this, for the last couple of weeks, as you well know, we have been reviewing your RFAs, your requests for applications, and we've been so delighted to have that opportunity to see the big picture and the boxes in the background of the work that you're doing. We saw things that we were so excited about. Communities saying, we looked at our data, we identified the early childhood workforce has a need for support of their whole person well-being. You identified aspiring family child care providers, and your work, key to your work is helping them become licensed family child care providers. You identified centers that are deciding to open infant rooms, and we're thrilled to hear things like this. We see so many strategies that you're using to sort of fill the bucket of your local community. We also saw the painful realities that we see across the state as well, that are sort of those holes in the bottom of the bucket. Communities talked about losing infant care. Communities talked about the high level of turnover in their workforce. Communities talked about the struggle to engage programs to maintain that fiscal agreement to ensure that families have the access to the care that they want to be able to make choices in your community. So we want to kind of check. We were so grateful to have this opportunity to see this big picture of all the things that you are wanting to do and doing, and the challenges and barriers that you're facing in your community. And we sat back and thought, gosh, wouldn't it be great if there was a strategy that could fill that bucket, that could enhance those bucket filling strategies and fill those holes at the same time? And then we got more excited because we're here. We're here to do that with you. We're excited about all the same things that you're excited about, particularly with regards to infant and toddler care. And we recognize that we have more opportunities to make more clear how we can be a partner in the EQ initiative, how we can communicate, how we can listen. We were just so thrilled to have this opportunity to hear what you're doing in your communities. I'm going to switch my screen over to Eva so she can talk a little bit about some of the things that she saw as well.
Yeah, so some of the things that I noticed when going through the RFAs were that you are all doing such meaningful and hard work, and it kind of reminded me of the way that we see teachers in the classroom observing the children, sitting next to them, gazing with them in wonderment, and thinking with them. And those teachers ask children, what's next? What else might you need? Or how could I help you? And seeing that sort of individualizing with children, we notice that as a parallel process. I think supporting you as partners and seeing that individualized work and important work that you're each doing in your communities, we want to ask you, what's next? What else might you need, and how could we help? We know that you guys are doing such strong work for infants and toddlers in each of your communities. Not only that, but also for all children, for families, and for early childhood professionals. We think that you're doing such great things, and we want to be here to be your rah-rah people, and we're excited about the work that you're doing. And we feel like we're also doing good work for infants and toddlers. So we're excited to partner and to be that support and to think about what's next, what do you need, and how can we help? So we know that you guys are ready, and we feel like we are ready and we're here. So we want to talk a little bit more about our administrators training that's coming up in May.
Thank you, Eva. It's so fun to see that the framework that we just sent out and get everything back and see, just similarly to how teachers have a set of the early learning development guidelines and make experiences that are specific to those children. So one other thread that sort of ran through all of those many of your applications and your strategic plans and just your hopes and dreams is this sense of wanting to have shared messages, to build public awareness, to engage your community and get your community bought in, so to speak, on the work that you're doing, the work that your early care and education workforce is doing, and the experiences of children in your communities. And we want to do that too. And to that end, we are organizing our sort of annual meeting. It's a one-day. We've flagged it as an EQ administrators training because we want to make sure that everybody comes and has this opportunity to build these shared messages together, to find out ways to build engagement in our local communities together. And our day will be a day of practicing storytelling in a way that finds and tells the stories that matter in your local community in a way that builds that buy-in. How can we all listen to our constituents in such a way that they're invited to continue to engage? This day will be built into the training of trainers. They will have met for 1 week previously, and this will be the first day of their second week. So you'll also have the opportunity to sort of connect with new and old EQ infant toddler specialists across the state. So we're hopeful that you will want to reach out to us and find out more about this day of telling stories and building our powers together to tell those stories in our communities, and that you will bring the right partners to the table who can do this work together. So thank you for your time. We are open to any questions. And Monica, I don't know if I can see questions or not when I'm in this role. Maybe I can, or maybe you can tell me, but we'll go ahead and pause there and see what questions or comments you have for us at this time.
No questions yet. I'm going to try to unmute everyone again. What are the dates in May?
That is a very good question, isn't it? It's the 5th of May. So the administrators training, this storytelling day, will be on the 5th of May. It's a Tuesday. We'll be holding that session at Arapahoe County Department of Human Services, where we had a meeting last year. So there's lots of great parking, some reasonable lodging within close distance. We will have more information about this in the coming weeks as well, registrations and information like that. But that's a great question. We're so deep into our story, we forgot one of those logical details like the actual day.
And will there be a registration link that will be sent out to everyone?
Yes, there will be a registration link that will go out to everyone.
Thank you. Any more questions for the EQ team? Well, if you think of anything else, you guys, I'm pretty sure you have Lisa and Eva's contact info, but they're also on the slides I'll be sending out.
Thank you, Monica.
Sure. Okay, moving right along. We have someone that's never presented with us before on the TA webinars. We have Mary Heffernan from the Colorado Department of Education, and she will be talking about the training alignment process. And she is here physically with us today. Let me go ahead and get you to, I'll give you access to the screen. Okay.
Oh, great.
All right, so hi everyone. Thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited to share with you the launch of the training alignment process on Colorado Shine's PDIS. And what you're seeing before you is the resource page for training alignment, and we call that process TAP. And what the training alignment process does is it allows professional organizations and individual trainers to submit their training for review for alignment to Colorado competencies and best practice standards for adult instruction. Once a training is recognized as meeting alignment, it's posted on the Colorado Shines course catalog. And then users can go ahead and register for a training event, or they can contact the trainer to schedule a training event. So users will register for the event online, and then after the event is done, the trainers go back into PDIS and they mark these users, these attendees, as having attended and completed the course. So the benefit for our early childhood professionals is that they have greater access to a broader range of professional development, a more diverse selection of training. And then also for our rural communities, they have greater access as well. But once an event is marked as being attended and complete, the system automatically produces a certificate of completion for the user. So now our early childhood professionals don't need to upload certificates, and our trainers don't need to produce paper certificates. So it's a really nice benefit that way. And for trainers, when your training is posted in the course catalog, then you know our over 70,000 plus users are viewing that training. So it's a really good marketing piece for you. It's a really simple process to apply for training alignment. If you look at the top page here, you can see there's the 4 steps. You can click on the course agreement. And the course agreement takes you through the expectations and responsibilities of being a course owner. So you can read through those, sign, date, and save it, and then send that in to me. And probably the biggest responsibilities of being a course owner is that you're keeping your information up to date in the system, and that you agree that you'll mark attendees as having completed the course within 7 days of the event taking place. So your course is recognized as aligned for 3 years, and about a month before expiration, I would send you a reminder, and you would fill out a simple form if you want to keep the course on there or any changes that need to be made for it. And then the second step is filling out the TAP fillable application. So you can go ahead and cut and paste into this form. And what we're really looking for is the training description, what competencies your training is supporting, and then of course also the learning objectives, learning activities, learning transfer, and learning checks. Our objectives do have to meet certain standards, and again, this is a great benefit to our early childhood field because the objectives need to be written so that learners really know what they're getting out of this. So they need to be specific, measurable, well-defined. We just have these certain standards. So when I attend a training, I know, oh, this is the skill and the knowledge that I'm going to be able to bring back to my program and use right away. So it's really helping to promote that quality and giving our early childhood professionals the knowledge and skills they need to best serve our children and families. All right, so once you have the course agreement completed, the application completed, you send that in to me through my email. I'll review that, and again, it meets alignment. It goes up in the course catalog. Let's see, we have these other resources on here. The training design tip sheet is really useful to lead you through how to design those learning objectives and the different items that we ask for. We also have links to the competencies PDIS security training course, and a whole host of other things. But I really want to emphasize that right now, this is an optional process. If you are offering training, it does not have to go through the TAP process, but we are hoping a lot of people will take advantage of this because there are a lot of really good benefits to this for trainers, professional development organizations, and of course, ultimately our early childhood professionals. So we'd really like to see a lot of people do this. You can see our training aligned logo down at the bottom of the page here. If you have a training that goes through this process, you do get to use that logo on your web page or in other areas, in other advertising. So that's a really nice thing to have.
Mary, we do have one question.
Sure.
It says, can we do this face-to-face for face-to-face trainings in rural communities?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's all I really have for you. I just wanted to give a quick introduction to this, and I encourage you to go on to PDIS, and you can see there's the, on the left-hand main menu navigation, you can just click into the Apply for Training Alignment page. And it's really pretty straightforward, but I am available to help you with aligning to competencies or to structure your objectives in a way that is really beneficial to learners. Or anything you need and any questions you have. And probably the last thing I want to point out to you is that there is a how-to guide on managing your courses. So it's all right here and available to you. And it just depends on some different choices that you make, how you'll manage your course. But you are free to call me or email me to discuss the best option for you.
This is online, so they can access it.
Yep, this is all online. All these resources are available through this PDIS training alignment page. Does anyone have any other questions for me?
I'll give them a few to type in. This is pretty exciting, though. I know on our help desk we get a lot of emails about training and how they can become a trainer and a lot, and offer their training through Colorado Shines.
Yeah, it is really nice. And another benefit is that once a lot of people are using this and they don't have to upload certificates, those courses that are automatically linked to a user's account automatically feed into their professional credential.
As long as they register for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So then our help desk doesn't have to review as many of those submissions. So it's a quicker turnaround time for professional credentialing as well.
So if you're in PDIS and you search TAP, you'll get all of this information.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We do have a question. It says, do the trainers have to be credentialed to do this?
No, they don't. In our course agreement, we do ask that when you're applying, that you do ensure that you or whoever's leading the training does have the expertise, the experience, the education, or the credential to run the training. There might be a point in time in the future where we do require trainers to be credentialed for this, and that we do require all training in Colorado to go through the training alignment process. But that is sometime in the future. I don't expect that anytime soon, but we really wanted to let everyone get their feet wet and experience this first.
It doesn't look like we have any more questions. Mary's contact information is on the slides that I will be sending out. So if you think of anything, just go ahead and shoot her an email. Or could they contact through the PDIS help desk?
They certainly could do that, but my direct contact information is on this training alignment page on PDIS.
All right. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
So next up, we have our QRIS team from Clayton Early Learning. As you all know, they have the contract and they go out and do all of the level 3 through 5 ratings. So we have Josh from Clayton. And Josh, give me a minute and I will send the screen to you. And you are unmuted.
All right.
We can hear you. and see your screen.
All right. So hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be presenting here. I've got just a couple of things. Okay, so I'm going to be giving updates on scheduling for programs rating Colorado Shines. The third version's coming up. The Colorado Shines Q&A sessions that we hold, and then there's one other issue that kind of just came up, so that I'll talk about. Scheduling. So I just kind of wanted to give an overview of how I schedule programs, because there's, I don't know, maybe some confusion out. But I basically go back and I see who rated, when I'm scheduling a month, who rated 3 years ago that month, and those programs rating again get priority. So about 4 months out, I reach out to the programs, I send them an email, be like, hey, we have you scheduled for a rating. I see that you haven't submitted your application. Can you please submit your application? So I kind of hold that spot, give them priority until I hear back that they're not going to rate or something. And then, then once I hear back, I remove them. I usually let a council know. But then once I know that they're going to rate and everything's good, then I can start getting programs off of the queue. So if I can get programs to submit 6 months prior to their rating, that's really, really helpful. And just, I want to get the message out that if they submit early, unless they reach out to me or someone reaches out that they want to rate early, they're going to stay in that same month. So just submitting doesn't, necessarily kind of get them in the queue to be random. They're going to stay in that same month. And if something's up, I want them to respond to my emails and be like, hey, we're doing an alt path, we're not going to rate, or we're doing some construction that month. And then we can kind of worry about other things, or and I can get other programs on the schedule, I think is the biggest part. But yeah, after I get communication, I can get programs off of the queue and scheduled. And we are scheduled. April and May is all scheduled already. So June programs, I've reached out to programs who rated 3 years ago in June. And so, there are 10 programs that we have, so we have some room in the queue. And then, another thing that's really helpful is coming into the summertime. A lot of times programs have been listed as year-round, but they're not. And then so when I schedule them, then I kind of have to remove them. And really, it's like if I know things, then I can get more programs off of the queue, because the worst is when an assessor, the month before the rating month, makes an orientation call and they're like, oh, we're not going to rate. And then I can't get a program in off of the queue. Everybody wins when I get communicated with. So third versions, the ITERS R and ECHRS R, I spelled ECHRS wrong, so sorry, will be used starting July. And we're working on an FAQ document that should be hopefully sent out in the next couple of weeks. Just kind of what to expect, what some differences are, and we have a lot of different people working on that. And then the schedule will be made. The June schedule, which programs will be using the R versions, will be made within the next month. And then after that, everyone will be using the third version. And I guess just with that, I know that there's probably some anxiety and stuff about which version people are going to rate. And, I've probably put some information out there, and it's hard to kind of predict, but anyone, so I know that this June might be, people might expect the third or the R, and it's hard, and I understand that, but yeah. All right, so Colorado Shines Q&A session. This is where we have a rater, an assessor, and a member of our data team, and we open this up. It's the third Friday of every month for the programs who are in their rating month or about to be in their rating month, so the document portal is open. And we really want to increase attendance, and programs have really had a great benefit from attending. And coaches are encouraged to participate with the programs, and we're going to kind of be doing some things in the future, probably in April, to kind of really expand the reach. So look to that. And we really want to increase participation because it hasn't been very well participated in. So. And then there's an issue. So programs aren't able to see their point structures, but they can still see their points. So they're going to see that. I kind of highlighted that, and it's blank. Usually that's populated with kind of that. So those are the different levels because there's going to be some confusion. I sent emails out to all January programs. Their ratings are going to be released tomorrow, just kind of giving them a heads up that they're going to see this. But they'll still see their points. Right, they'll still see their scores, and then what levels that coincides with, but they're not. And I did share something like this that shows the breakdown for both the family homes and the centers. So there's two different ones, and there's the breakdowns are slightly different. So that might be some confusion. Other than that, that's all I have. You can reach out to me with any questions, concerns about anything, either email or telephone. Thank you for help or inviting me to participate. And I'm open for any questions if there's questions now, or you can reach out to me directly.
Josh, there is one question. It says, how do programs and coaches log into the Colorado Shines Q&A sessions?
Yeah, that's great. So we send out information probably about 2 weeks before to programs who are in their rating month or the month before their rating month. And then they log into that. We are, like I said, in the future, we're going to open it up to anyone, and we're going to put that registration on our Clayton Early Learning website under the Colorado Quality Assessment Services tab. Or, you can always email me if you want to get on that too.
And our team will be sending it out in the newsletter, the weekly newsletter, when there's going to be a Q&A session to keep everyone informed, maybe with the registration links. Still trying to figure out those logistics, but we're hoping to over-communicate that.
Yes.
And we have a question that says, can you send these out to coaches and councils? Please have them sign up for the newsletter.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
And how would you like the councils to spread the word on the calls, about the calls?
About the Q&A calls?
Yeah, I think just with you can share that newsletter with them. Hopefully by word of mouth, when someone goes to their rating, hopefully participated in one of those Q&A sessions, they have a positive experience, and then they can share that with their peers.
It sounded like you guys were still kind of working through what that's going to look like, and that maybe March, April time period, we can know a little bit more, so then we can get that information out. Yeah,
we're kind of working on revamping it in our regular meetings, and hope to have some updates hopefully this week. So yes.
Thanks, Josh. And just again, we decided to have Josh present today because, as you mentioned, programs should know that they're going through a rating. They should know when their rating month is. They can look it up in their program portal. They receive emails from the system that are automated months before they expire, so it shouldn't be a surprise. However, we have found, it seems in the last couple of months, a few providers didn't know they were up for a rating or didn't know that they were supposed to rate in that certain month. And it does, then we're all trying to fit them into the queue and give them an extension and really trying to work with these programs. And as councils, you guys all have those reports of the programs that are soon to expire, so you should be keeping in touch with them too about, getting them ready for their rating and when their rating month will be. If you guys have any questions about where to find those reports in Salesforce, just contact Michelle or myself, and we will give you access to them if you don't have access and show you how to use them.
Yeah, and just a reminder that programs rate the month before they expire. So if their expiration date is, May 31st, they're going to rate in April.
Thanks, Josh. Yep, that's a good reminder. Also, we've had several programs think they've submitted for a rating, but they're just submitting the application, and then they're not going to that home tab and actually submitting for a level 3 through 5 rating. That seems to be happening pretty often. So make sure they're actually going through the whole process, updating their application, submitting it, and then submitting for the actual rating. That's for level 2 as well.
And they should get an automated email and right after submitting. So that's always if they get an email saying thank you for submitting, then they did it right.
Yep, and that email is going to be the primary email on the account, so they need to make sure that's up to date, because that's where all the emails about with the rating and expiration, those all go to that primary email. Another thing, and we mentioned this a while ago, is that the QI navigators want to be kept in the loop on what's going on with their programs. They can do that by going in the back end of Salesforce and adding themselves as the QI navigator. It's just an edit button. We demonstrated how to do this a while ago, but let us know if you don't know if your QI nav does not know how to do that. That way they'll get notified when the program's receiving any emails from the system. Any more questions for Josh or for the Clayton team? Okay. Well, I have Josh send me your slides and I'll share them with our attendees, and then I have his contact information on the other slides as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Monica, and thank you, everyone, for the hard work that everyone puts in supporting children and families.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, we're going to move right along to CSTAT. Let me get those slides pulled up. Somewhere I had them ready. Karen, did you want to talk a little bit about the rural goal?
Sure. So our rural goals include a subset of our high quality goal, and that is to get to 33.7% by the end of the year, and within our rural area. So any area based on census that is designated as rural or micro is counted in that particular goal. And currently we have prioritized all programs who have submitted for a rating to get into the rating schedule between now and May 30th to help support us getting to that goal. And currently it's tight. We probably won't know if we're going to get there until the absolute end of June, when we start to get the May rated site data. But right now we're optimistic, and if our projections hold, we should make it by about literally 3 or 4 programs. So hopefully we won't have any drops for our programs that are in the ratings queue now through the end of May, and we'll be able to hit that target. Really appreciate all the hard work our ECCs and our rural communities are doing to get folks moving forward into the ratings program. And then that brings us to the statewide goal, of course. We are also projecting that we will be on target for meeting our 28%. We hit 26% this past week, and we've really been floundering on that a bit, hanging around the 24.7 to 25% mark. So we're pretty excited about the jump. We think that, of course, the rural goal helps the statewide goal. And in addition, we have a few school districts that are getting ready to go through the alternative pathway. If all of that happens, we'll be in good shape, and we will hit those targets as well. So we're tightly managing it. I know you guys have gotten lots of phone calls from us, and really just appreciate all the support to get this done. We had one additional rule goal around getting more PDIS courses out, available, and taken, basically. So we're tracking how many new courses are taken month over month, and that is going exceptionally well. And of course, the highlight being the new courses that are coming out, and they're exceptional quality. The feedback has been really outstanding. And the new one with standard precautions that used to cost folks, having to sit in a room, getting paid for that because their employer required it, on top of having to pay a trainer to do that. We have over 2,000 of those courses now completed. And if you tack that on, we're looking at, thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of savings to our providers. So really excited about how well that's going. So do you guys have any questions on what's going on with CSTAT stuff?
They're asking for me to go back to slide 6, and I'll send you guys the slide deck in the follow-up email. But we're moving to slide 6. So this is the breakdown of the larger councils for those programs for levels 3 through 5. But yeah, we'll send this out to you guys, and then email your coordinator if you have any questions. Does anyone have any questions for now about the CSTAT slides or the data we're showing? And we have a request for Karen to talk a bit about something.
Yeah.
Sherry, let me unmute you and you can ask your question. You are unmuted, Sherry.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Karen. This is Sherry from Weld County.
Hi.
I just wanted to see if you, hi. I wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about the goal that OEC has with increasing the fiscal agreements with the current licensed child care providers. We heard about it a little bit, I think, in our November or December call. I can't remember because I know we canceled one. But I know that our local Department of Human Services has reached out for us to kind of share in exploring ways to meet that goal. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure. We have Sarah Jane scheduled, I think, and unfortunately she had a conflict, and she is also working with it. But I do think this is pretty exciting. Mentioned it maybe a month or so ago that the CSTAT goal for our there was another CSTAT goal that our CCAP team is working on, is to help to support more programs get fiscals. And I know you guys have been working hard on this the last couple of years, so that folks have the opportunity to access the quality improvement funding. Now we have our partners with DHS coming together with us to also kind of help support providers as they're working with DHS, and they've got a data list that's been created for them of all the providers in their areas who has lists already, and then who are pretty much their opportunities, if you will. And they're also working collectively to set a statewide goal of getting new fiscals in place. So I'm really glad you brought this up, Sherry, because one of the things we talked about was it's time to get you guys invited to these meetings. And because there was some discussion at the last meeting about counties saying, well, I work great with my early childhood council, and here's some of the successes we've had in working together. And I'm sitting there, trying to represent you guys, feeling like I'm not doing justice to this, to all the good work that you're doing. So watch your email in the next couple of weeks. It's either going to be in March or April. We're going to send an invite, and if you can be there, great. And we'll just ask you to join the steering committee planning meetings that are happening around this topic. So, but yeah, the goal is basically just DHS is trying to increase fiscals. We've had this for 2 years now that, the fiscals are needed to access to quality improvement funding. And we just felt like it's a great time that, the county DHS offices also start to really work on this goal with us.
Yep. So Sarah Jane did send us some information, and you'll receive it in a newsletter. It'll be an invitation for the next CCAP Fiscal Agreement Task Force meeting on March 16th at 1 p.m. It'll be here at 1575 Sherman, where we are at the OEC, or you can video conference in. And they're encouraging not just the original counties that have participated, but really anyone that wants to attend. Specifically, you guys, the early childhood councils. Does anyone have any more questions about the CSTAT goals?
I think that in that invitation, this is Sherry, and I don't know if I'm still unmuted, but to maybe explain a little bit more about what the ask is of councils, because we have been doing the work, whether we've been a CCRNR or a council, when we work with child care providers in general. But maybe to get more thoughtful conversation or in-depth conversation is kind of like some probing questions that maybe could be answered on the agenda, like where have been some successes, and maybe looking at some of what the current barriers are that have been identified with child care providers accepting CCAP. I know we don't want to get into that rabbit hole, but at the same time, I feel like if you don't address it a little bit, that's going to be some of the suggestions of like, hey, if you reduce some of the barriers that our providers are saying that are happening, then we could, more effectively market CCAP to our providers.
Right.
I just thought maybe that would have more in-depth conversations.
Yeah, that's a great point, Sherry. And I think some of that started to come up in the last meetings, and that's when I said, hey, we don't have enough people at the table here to really have a good, statewide conversation. And so then some communication or conversation started to be had about, let's get these meetings opened up, because generally it started out to be just a task force to try to help set statewide goals. But as we're looking at exactly what you're saying, what are the barriers and what are the successes, we needed everyone in the room to start to really unpack that. So very good point, and that's exactly why we're opening up these task force meetings to all of our counties and all of our councils.
Thank you, Karen.
So we're going to move right along for the sake of time. We did receive all the RFA documents on time by Valentine's Day at 5 o'clock. So thank you guys so much. Our team has been reviewing them. Just in awe over all the work you guys do. I mean, we know about all the work you do, but it's nice to kind of see it in that format. And we've had Michelle, Karen, myself reviewing, and Eva and Lisa as well. So reviewing that stuff, putting the items together for contracts. So it's been busy here at the office, but we appreciate all the work you do. You received an email from Michelle about Head Start grantees last week. Michelle, you want to share a little bit more about that?
So I sent out an email to all of you last week in regards to the renewal process for Head Start programs that would receive the alternative pathway. So we have sent out a communication to all Head Start grantee agencies along with a spreadsheet, and I did share the spreadsheet with you guys as well, and asked them to identify the programs that they oversee that meet two criteria: that 100% of that licensed program follows Head Start performance standards, and that 2, they are subject to a federal Head Start review. We've started to have some of those spreadsheets come back in from the grantee agencies. And so as they are coming in, I'm sending out communication to those grantee agencies of what are next steps for the programs to apply for their renewal of their alternative pathway if they've already been recognized, or how to apply if they have not been recognized previously. We are hoping that this will clear up a lot of confusion that we've had in the past, which has been what exactly is a community partner and what exactly are the requirements of a community partner when they are serving children who are within Head Start or early Head Start. And we've received various answers and it's been about as clear as mud about what is expected from these programs. So we have decided this is probably the best course of action moving forward to determine who should receive the Head Start crosswalk. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. And if you have any questions from any of the Head Start programs in your area, they can reach out to me as well, and I can help work with them as they are moving forward. So what we've done at this point, other than the communications, is all previous programs that were formally recognized as Head Start grantee programs, we have moved their rating to a level 4 that will expire at the end of this year, so December 31st, 2020. Now with that, there are going to be programs that we're going to say, wait, we want to still rate and go through the traditional route of Colorado Shines, which is absolutely fine. Do not stop them from doing that. If they would like to rate through the rating system, please allow them to do it, and please support them as they're doing it. Those who have decided that they want to wait and see what happens, let them know that it is not guaranteed that they will receive the crosswalk. And so if they've previously rated, you should encourage them to continue going through re-rating, because they may not receive the crosswalk. It's all going to depend on the information we receive from the grantee, or the grantee agencies, I should say. The other thing we know is some of you serve programs that are under Rocky Mountain SARE, and we know that contract is going through renewal, and we're not sure if they are still going to continue being the grantee agency. We won't know that until June or July. Because of that, the programs that have reached out to me, I've explained to them that they do have until the end of this year before anything is going to change in their rating, and that we are asking grantee agencies to return that workbook by no later than October 1st. So hopefully by then, any program that is currently being overseen by Rocky Mountain SARE will have time in between whoever is awarded that contract through Head Start. They will have time to be able to identify those programs and submit that information to us prior to October 1.
And on that vein, because they're switching grantees, those license numbers will end up changing. So just so you're aware of those, of all those SARE programs, which is the biggest grantee in the state. So we'll be really micromanaging this process along with Heather to ensure that we scoop those guys up and get them recognized and work with the new grantee on this process as well. And this is really no different than what we did in 2015. We just are at that 5-year mark and feel like it's time to revisit this in the field and make sure that we're getting these guys appropriately recognized.
Any questions for Michelle? Just an update on the third QRS coordinator position. That has been closed. Interviews will start probably in the next couple weeks or so. We will have a new team member here pretty soon. Probably not for the next webinar, but anyway, so that's in the works. Does anyone have any general questions? Also, if you think of topics you think we should go over during one of these webinars, let your QRS coordinator know, and then we can address those topics during the webinars. All right, well, thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.